That was the real IRC chat logs from when Moot first made 4chan on October 1st, 2003. He named it after 2chan.net, also known as Futaba channel, which was a Japanese image board similar to 4chan. So, why did Moot choose the number 4? Well, he answers this directly.
One of the questions we actually got from the users is, why did you decide to call your service 4chan?
Obviously it's based on Futaba, which is 2chan, and I believe 3chan was taken at the time, and so 4 was the next available number, and so I registered it.
But then how did 2chan.net get its name? Well, it was an offshoot of 2channel, which was created by this guy sitting by Moot, Hiroyuki Nishimura. He created 2channel on 2ch.net as just a text board, and later he would go on to buy 4chan from Moot, where he is the current owner. 2channel was created as an offshoot of another text board, amezo. Hiroyuki briefly explained in an interview where the name 2channel came from, but I'll add more context. Old game consoles had to use VHF signals through a cable to broadcast the TV, and to keep the cost of the RF modulator down, they needed to use the lowest frequency available. But in Japan, the lowest frequency VHF channel, channel 1, was too close to the FM radio frequency band, which could cause signal interference, causing the picture to become blurry. So, the consoles had a switch on the back to select which channel was more clear, and it was usually channel 2. Hiroyuki likened this to amezo already being on channel 1, so his new text board would be channel 2. When the consoles came to America, though, we had different VHF channels in different states of use. Our VHF channel 1 was being used for emergency radio communications, and channel 2 was being used widely for TV stations, leaving channel 3 and 4, each in some degrees of use for local TV stations. So, just like in Japan, there was a switch on the back to select which channel was more clear. In a striking coincidence, this mirrors when 2chan.net came to America, and Moot couldn't select 3chan.net because it was in use, so he had to use 4chan.net. This is neat, but the 4chan name has a much greater coincidence. If we look at 2chan.net's other name of Futaba channel, what does this mean? You may know if you've played Persona 5. Futaba is just a regular girl's name in Japan. It comes from futa, meaning two, and ba, meaning leaves, which is why the homepage of Futaba channel has this young sprouting two-leafed plant background, and its icon is similar. The name is meant to symbolize new beginnings, and was used for 2chan.net as Futaba channel was an offshoot of 2channel. So when Moot adapted Futaba channel, or Two Leaves channel, from 2chan.net to 4chan.net in 2003, it was natural to continue the naming, with 4 in Japanese being Yatsu. 4chan's Japanese name became Yotsuba, which just so happened to coincide with a popular manga series and its eponymous character that started earlier that same year. Yotsuba having 4 pigtails and green hair, which is made to look like 4 leaves. This accidental mascot becomes even stranger when we look at who created it. Kiyohiko Azuma, who created it right after finishing his extremely popular series Azumanga Daioh in 2002. And the IRC chat where Moot first announced 4chan was named after the ending of Azumanga Daioh, Raspberry Heaven. So, this accidental mascot really seems like it should have been on purpose. But it likely wasn't, with the 4chan logo contest ending just days after 4chan first went live. There was only one submission that referenced the future mascot, submitted by a user named Shut. And just 2 months later, when 4chan had the icon contest, Shut would win again, with his submission being made to resemble Yotsuba's 4 pigtails, or leaves, with the 2 lower ones coming down, further being complicated by the 4 green leaves / pigtails being like a 4-leaf clover, and the name 4chan sounding exactly like fortune. All of this really cemented Yotsuba and the 4-leaf clover as 4chan symbols. But that's not the only thing 4chan got from Futaba. Moot actually just took Futaba's open source PHP script and translated it to English. He took Futaba's default name, with na meaning name and nasha meaning without, so without name, to become anonymous, with the Greek roots of an meaning without and anonymous meaning name, which is where 4chan's other mascot, Anonymous, comes from. This is the original Green Anonymous that would later turn into the Guy Fawkes Hacker Anonymous. This Anonymous is more used on 4chan as it fits with the green secondary color theme, in addition to the famous greentext with hex code 789922, which also comes from Futaba Channel. But Futaba Channel didn't create it, nor did it create most of its script. It got it from Gazu BBS, created by a user named Tor, with Gazu being Japanese for image and BBS standing for Bulletin Board System. Here we can see the earliest use of greentext I can find as a test by Tor from April 10th, 2001. But we can see that it was added to the code earlier in version 2.1, released March 17th, 2001. Although version 2.0 still had the use of the greater than symbol for quoting, it notably did not have the quote text change color like version 2.1 did. An interesting thing to note is that version 2.1 did not allow for the name input to be left blank. So Futaba Channel must have added the default nanasha or anonymous feature. But they did not come up with that themselves. They got it from their direct predecessor, 2channel, who had it as nanasha-sen, or Mr. Anonymous. And while 2channel's predecessors of amezo and ayashii world allowed for the name input to be blank, they did not have a default to fill it with. 2channel also is where the green for the names comes from. This green is different than the green in the green text, and Gazu BBS would change it to hex code 117743 that continued to 4chan today. So why did Tor choose this 789922 color for the green text? Well, it seems to be to contrast the maroon 800000 color that's used for the text body. This maroon for the text body seems to come from a user named Kent in his clipboard BBS script from June 24th, 2000. Although amezo was using maroon text earlier in 1998, but only for the replies. The use of maroon with its exact hex code in both probably come from it being listed as one of the 16 standard colors in the HTML 3.2 specification in January 14th, 1997. And it is of note that neither the green used for the names nor the green text are listed in this specification. So those seem to be chosen by Tor when he created the Gazu BBS script. We can sum all this by mapping out the history of some aspects of 4chan throughout its bulletin board ancestors.
Everybody